Let us pray. Source of all wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, we offer thanks for the diligent pursuit of truth which we honor and celebrate this day. We bid your blessing on this university and this day, that with perceptive minds and humble hearts we may pursue the mysteries of our universe and so benefit the whole human race and the world in which we live. Amen.
Madam Chancellor, honorary degree recipients, honorands, honored guests, colleagues, graduates, family and friends, good afternoon. I'm delighted to welcome all of you here to Mount St. Vincent University's Spring 2004 Convocation. Today and tomorrow, we celebrate the accomplishments of 660 graduates, one of our largest classes ever. It's with very great pride that we at Mount St. Vincent University extend to you, the graduating class of 2004, our warmest congratulations. Please join me in a round of applause for our graduates. I want to take a moment to thank those who have made this event possible. Graduates, first of all, I think you would want to join me in recognizing the support and encouragement, the instruction, the advice that you have received along the way from your faculty, from your family, from your friends. I think each of you know, as you reflect on your time at the Mount, how much you have called on others to support you on this journey of learning. And so I think you would want to reciprocate and show your appreciation to the people who sit surrounding you this afternoon, who have been so much a part of your journey. Let's acknowledge our faculty and your family and friends. I hardly need tell you that it takes a lot of effort on the part of many to put a convocation together. The staff in the President's office, in physical plant, in public affairs have all worked very hard to make this happen, and especially the Registrar's office, because without the Registrar's seal of approval, you really would not be sitting there. It is the Registrar, Lynn Terrio, and her staff who provide the information to our Senate, which has approved the conferring of your degrees. So I do want to acknowledge the tremendous work that goes in on the part of very many to make Convocation a success, to make it a special day for you, our graduates. I also want to recognize the way in which volunteer contributions help to shape the life of the university and its work. We're grateful for the work of many members of the broader community who volunteer their time. A number of them are here today. The members of our Board of Governors are all volunteers, and they give many hours to the Mount. And their presence on stage here today symbolizes that continuing interest. We have many people who serve on advisory boards and committees. serve in our athletics and recreation department in a volunteer capacity, and too many other areas of the university for me to name. In celebration of our 125th anniversary in 1998-99, we inaugurated the Mount St. Vincent University Anniversary Award to recognize volunteer contributions. And I'm pleased to announce that the recipient of this year's award for volunteer service is Charlotte Cochran, a tireless volunteer who has contributed significantly to the Mount over the past 13 years. Today we celebrate not only the accomplishments of our graduates, but also those of two exceptional women who have distinguished themselves in their lives and their careers, Daphne Marlatt and Medina. Each will be recognized later in the program, and I am quite sure that you will each be moved by the commitment and the dedication each of them has shown to their profession and their community. We very much look forward to welcoming them to our alumni family. At Mount St. Vincent, we place a premium on teaching quality. Each year we recognize one faculty member who has demonstrated excellence in teaching, and they epitomize many more. At tomorrow afternoon's ceremony, Dr. Charles Edmonds, a professor in our Mathematics and Computer Studies department, will be recognized for his outstanding commitment to teaching and to our students. And I would also like to congratulate Dr. Wendy Cornwall of our Department of Economics, who is retiring after many years of service to the university and on whom the Senate has conferred the status of Professor Emeritus. Graduates, I don't need to tell you what an important day in your lives this is. The American philosopher John Dewey, who devoted his life to education, is reported to have said, "Education is not preparation for life, education is life itself." I think you have lived this as you have studied, as you have prepared your papers, as you've debated ideas, as you've shared with each other, as you've studied for exams, and developed your own theories as you move forward with your courses of study. And Convocation is more than the culmination of those years of study. It is, of course, the start of a new chapter in your lives. You will see that your degree, your credentials, your diploma, your certificate will open new doors to life, to career opportunities. During your time here at the Mount, you have learned that change and growth are what this university is all about. As an institution, we feel we must continually adapt as new ideas present themselves, as we confront new challenges, as we encounter students with different needs, with growing needs. And that's one of the reasons we're expanding our campus, expanding the programs we offer, extending our reach into the world. This year we saw the opening of our new residence, Westwood, which I understand has been a great success. In terms of expansion of our programs and offerings, we're actually celebrating a number of firsts here today. We have the first graduates from our Bachelor of Applied Arts in Child and Youth Study in association with Bermuda College. We will confer for the first time the Masters of Education Curriculum Studies, Teaching English as a Second Language, in association with St. Mary's University. The first graduates from our tourism program, offered in conjunction with the Commonwealth of Learning in St. Vincent's, St. Kitts, and St. Lucia, will also be granted degrees today. The first graduate from the Master of Education in Curriculum Studies with a concentration in medical education, offered in conjunction with the Division of Medical Education at Dalhousie University, will be conferred tomorrow. And finally, we will be awarding the Diploma in School Management to our first group of nearly 300 school principals in Jamaica in just 1 month's time. I think you can see from this list how much we believe in the strength of partnerships and how much we believe in the strength of outreach and accessibility. I also want to tell you about another first, a special initiative that will take place tomorrow evening and Saturday under the distinguished patronage of Her Honor, the Honourable Myra A. Freeman, Lieutenant Governor of Nova Scotia. The Lieutenant Governor's Symposium, Women and Leadership, Helping Nova Scotia Grow, will be held at Government House. 100 women at the start of their careers will assemble to talk about their vision for the future of our province and how they can help make that vision a reality. Mount St. Vincent University has been delighted to partner with Her Honor in presenting the symposium, which we see as a model for future symposia, where young Nova Scotians can come together to think strategically about growth and opportunity. We timed the symposium immediately after Convocation so that our participants would have the opportunity to interact and learn from the Mount's honorary graduates. And we are delighted that both Daphne and Anne are able to spend some time with us today and meet some of the participants. As you can see from these examples, we continue to look forward to expand in many areas of our campus and our academic life, and we look forward to keeping you apprised of future developments. And graduates, we hope in doing so you will keep us apprised of what is new in your lives. It's become a tradition at Convocation to acknowledge the achievements of members of our Mount community and the family connections of our graduates. With this in mind, I want to recognize Paul Poirier, Technical Supervisor in Distance Learning and Continuing Education, who will receive his Bachelor of Public Relations today. Carol Snow, the Coordinator for Secretarial and Print Shop Services, will receive her Certificate in Business. Kulvinder Malhotra, who has worked with our IT and AV departments and who graduates today with his Bachelor of Tourism and Hospitality Management and certificates in Business Administration and Marketing. Graduates, whatever your program of study, wherever your home, you join today a worldwide family of 21,000 Mount alumni who, as I never tire of saying, are our best ambassadors for the university, for our programs. As alumni, you remain members of the Mount community, and we do look forward to following your careers, learning of your successes, and seeing you at reunions and alumni gatherings. Each year we hold alumni events in many centers across Canada and overseas. This year we'll celebrate another milestone, the 50th anniversary of the Toronto Alumni Chapter. So if you're in Toronto on June 28th, please join us at the Arts Centre at the University of Toronto to help our alumni in Toronto, and you may be one of them by then, to celebrate this special anniversary. In closing, let me say that the love of learning you've developed at the Mount and the skills and abilities you've honed will benefit you, but will also benefit the society and the communities to which you will contribute your talents through your work, your family, your community service. Please tell us about the innovative contributions you continue to make, and stay in touch to hear how we are developing at the Mount, inspiring, teaching, pushing back the frontiers of knowledge. News of the Mount will come to you in Folia, Montana, your alumni magazine, but it is, of course, as close as our website, www.msvu.ca, and your email account. Please use it. Please stay in touch. Congratulations and all the best. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Madam Chancellor, Madam President, honorary degree recipients, honored guests, alumni, faculty, family, friends, and fellow graduates. I have decided that when we're finished here today, I'm going to retire. Now, some of you may laugh, but it's not like this hasn't been done before. I got the idea from that Monster.com ad that aired 1 or 2 years ago, where the proud, beaming parents asked their son that dreadful question, now that you have your degree, what are you going to do with the rest of your life? The beaming university grad replied, I think I'll go into early retirement. During the Christmas break 5 months ago, I was hit with that question at every stop. My aunts, uncles, and people who I once considered to be friends would pester me with questions about the next step. I had this automated response that I would keep in my back pocket. It meant nothing, but it always carried me from one holiday to the next. I see some heads nodding over here, so I assume I wasn't alone. You spend 4 or more years staring at a book a foot away and a blackboard 20 feet away, and then bam, graduation hits you smack in the face, and you end up looking like a deer caught in headlights in all of your pictures. Well, I'm here today to say that doesn't have to be the way. Sure, we don't have retirement savings plans, but we've got other investments, right? I mean, we need to think of all that tuition as an investment. Otherwise, that 20 grand I paid to MSVU was just another please play again in the great Tim Hortons cup of life. Indeed, we've each invested an inconceivable amount of time and energy to get through these halls. Our families, our parents, siblings, partners, spouses, and children have given their time, love, and sometimes money to help out. The faculty and staff have spent extra time working with us one-on-one, and the university itself has carefully allocated its money, giving us among the smallest, most welcoming classes in Canada. And, although we hate to admit it, even the government's invested a diminishing sum to help subsidize our schooling. I wonder what kind of return on investment those people were expecting when they lent a hand or a kind word. Probably not retirement. They probably meant for this to be the inspiring, enabling, door-opening springboard that it has been. So I guess I shouldn't move home and sponge off my parents for the next 50 years. My mother just breathed a sigh of relief. After a short vacation, I should probably get out there and make a difference in the world like I planned to from the beginning. There's no sense wasting all those investments. And since I actually don't know how to golf yet, I guess I should leave them out knowing that I have a lot more to learn and do in life. Thank you.
Madam Vice-Chancellor and President, it is my privilege to present to you the candidates for the Collegiate Honours of Graduation. I attest that they have successfully completed the required courses of study, and I ask that they be awarded the Certificate of Accounting to Anna Shepherd. The Certificate of Business Administration to Donald John Curry. Anita Klimkovich. Mary Reynolds. Carol Snow. Kendra Carmen Wenzel. The Certificate in Gerontology on Terry Mitchell. The Certificate of Tourism and Hospitality Management, Karen Mader. The Diploma in Business Administration to Donald A. Hatcher. Gail McCullum. Madam Chancellor, it is my privilege to present to you the candidates for the Collegiate Honours of Graduation. I attest that they have successfully completed the required courses of study, and I ask that they be admitted to the baccalaureate degree. Mount St. Vincent University confers the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study on Myra Patricia O'Coin.
On behalf of the Senate of Mount St. Vincent University, I admit you, Myra, to the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study, with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations, Myra.
Amanda Avery.
Amanda, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study. Congratulations, Amanda.
Stephanie Ball.
Stephanie, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study. Congratulations, Stephanie.
Leslie Ann Bird.
Leslie Ann, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study. Congratulations, Leslie.
Jennifer Elizabeth Burford.
Jennifer, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study. Congratulations, Jennifer.
Pamela Lillian Keynes.
Pamela, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study. Congratulations, Pamela.
Leah Stephanie Comeau.
Leah, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study. Congratulations, Leah.
Holly Marie Kraus.
Holly, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study. Congratulations.
Angie Davis.
Angie, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study. Congratulations.
Erin Dooley.
Erin, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study. Congratulations, Erin.
Melissa Duffy.
Melissa, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study. Congratulations, Melissa.
Louise Dawn Hannam with distinction.
Louise, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study. Congratulations for the distinctions.
Deanna Lynn Hensby.
Deanna, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study. Congratulations, Deanna.
Krista Cavanaugh.
Krista, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study. Congratulations, Krista.
Rebecca Leachman.
Rebecca, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study. Congratulations, Rebecca.
Sarah McCullum.
Sarah, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study. Congratulations, Sarah.
Sheena MacDonald with distinction.
Sheila, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study. Congratulations for the distinction.
Melissa Ann McKinnon.
Melissa, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study. Congratulations, Melissa.
Kerry MacLeod with distinction.
Is that Carrie or Terry? Carrie, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study. Congratulations.
Erin Martin with distinction.
Erin, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study. Congratulations for the distinction.
Janessa Rosaria McCarthy.
Janessa, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study. Congratulations.
Michelle Mountain.
Michelle, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study. Congratulations.
Sarah Marie Power.
Sarah, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study. Congratulations, Sarah.
Amy Elizabeth Robinson.
Amy, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study. Congratulations, Amy.
Laurie Sloan-White.
Is that Maura? Laurie, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study. Congratulations, Laurie.
Kathleen Grace Stote.
Kathleen, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study. Congratulations, Kathleen.
Michelle Leanne Smeltzer with distinction.
Michelle, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study. Congratulations.
Gillian Tebow with distinction and highest aggregate, and Gillian has held a President's Scholarship throughout her program.
Gillian, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study. And congratulations, Gillian. Blessings.
Dawn Troke.
Dawn, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study. Congratulations, Dawn.
Shauna Turple with distinction.
Shauna, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study. Congratulations for the distinction.
Cecilia Volk.
Cecilia, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study. Congratulations, Cecilia.
Amy Lynn Walsh with distinction.
Amy, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study. Congratulations, Amy.
Charmaine Wilkie.
Charmaine, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study. Congratulations, Charmaine.
Tara Ann Wilson.
Tara, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study. Congratulations very much.
Michelle Young with distinction.
Michelle, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study. Congratulations, Michelle.
Shauna Zink.
Shauna, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study. Congratulations, Shauna.
Mount St. Vincent University confers the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study in association with Bermuda College on Beverly Monk.
On behalf of the Senate of Mount St. Vincent University, I admit you to the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts in Child and Youth Study in association with Bermuda College, with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations, Beverly.
Mount St. Vincent University confers the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study Honours on Denise McCacken.
Denise, on behalf of the Senate of Mount St. Vincent University, I admit you to the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study Honors, with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Erin Woodbury with first class honours, and Erin is the recipient of a Shirk Graduate Scholarship.
I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Study Honors. Congratulations.
Mount St. Vincent University confers the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Family Studies and Gerontology on Kelly Ann Bastarash with distinction and highest aggregate.
Kelly Ann, I confer, on behalf of the Senate of Mount St. Vincent University, I admit you to the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Family Studies and Gerontology with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations, Kelly Ann.
Chantal Elizabeth Bruchette with distinction.
Chantal, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Family Studies and Gerontology. Congratulations, Chantal.
Susan Aileen Cochran.
Susan, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Family Studies and Gerontology. Congratulations, Susan.
Kristen Dawn Bessie Dinney.
Kristen, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Family Studies and Gerontology. Congratulations.
Krista Lee Diane McCarras, who also receives a certificate in community residential services.
Kristen, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Family Studies and Gerontology. Congratulations for the certificate as well.
Kimmy Lee Marshall with distinction, who also receives the certificate in gerontology.
Kimmy, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Family Studies and Gerontology, and congratulations.
Darren Patrick O'Connell.
Darren, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Family Studies, and Gerontology. Congratulations, Darren.
Natalie Ann Pennell with distinction.
Natalie, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts in Family Studies and Gerontology. Congratulations.
Natalie Nicole Rourke.
Natalie, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Family Studies and Gerontology. Congratulations.
Crystal Nicole Solos with distinction.
Crystal, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Family Studies and Gerontology. Congratulations for distinction.
Mount St. Vincent University confers the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Family Studies and Gerontology honours with first-class honours on Sue Potty with highest aggregate.
Sue, I confer the degree of got to do that one again. Sue, on behalf of the Senate of Mount St. Vincent University, I admit you to the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Family Studies and Gerontology honors, with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Jason Sidney with first-class honours.
Jason, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Family Studies and Gerontology honors. Congratulations.
Mount St. Vincent University confers the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Information Technology, Practica route on Siobhan Lyons with distinction.
Siobhan, on behalf of the Senate of Mount St. Vincent University, I admit you to the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Information Technology, with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Siobhan, congratulations.
Alexandra Lauren MacDonald, Cooperative Education route.
Alexandra, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Information Technology. Congratulations.
Carl Phelan, Cooperative Education route.
Is it Carl? Carl, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Information Technology. Congratulations, Carl.
Michael Joseph Benoit. I think I've just conferred the wrong degree on him.
All right. Try that one again.
Yes, I'm sorry. Mount St. Vincent University confers the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration on Michael Joseph Benoit. Sorry, Michael.
Michael Joseph. On behalf of the Senate of Mount St. Vincent University, I admit you to the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Jasmine Sarah Brooks.
Jasmine, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration.
Jill Keynes, Cooperative Education option with distinction.
Jill, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Congratulations, Jill.
Elizabeth M. Carter, Cooperative Education option, and Elizabeth also receives a certificate in tourism and a certificate in marketing.
Elizabeth, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Congratulations.
Delia Angela Katzberg with distinction.
Ophelia, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Congratulations.
Catherine Ruth Coolan, with distinction.
Catherine, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Congratulations for distinction.
Leslie L. Cormier.
Leslie, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Congratulations, Leslie.
Amy Nadine Cumby.
Amy, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Congratulations, Amy.
Leslie Emery.
Leslie, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Congratulations. Thank you.
Sarah Elizabeth Hartling.
Sarah, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Congratulations, Sarah.
Michelle Hofstadter, Cooperative Education option with distinction.
Michelle, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Congratulations for the distinction.
David Krishnamurthy.
David, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Congratulations, David.
Susan Deanne Lovelace.
Susan, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Congratulations, Susan.
Shelley Ann MacDonald, Cooperative Education option.
Cheyenne, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Congratulations.
Ryan Thomas McNeil, with distinction and highest aggregate.
Ryan, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Congratulations.
Holly Ann McPhee.
Colleen, I confer the, is that right? Holly, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Congratulations to you.
Kevin William Marriott.
Kevin, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Congratulations, Kevin.
Jennifer Eileen Martin.
Jennifer, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Congratulations, Jennifer.
Laurie Dawn Miles, Cooperative Education option.
Laurie, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Congratulations.
Tammy May Moffat.
Tammy, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Congratulations, Tammy.
Barbara Jane Moore.
Barbara, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Congratulations, Barbara.
Sharon Diane Northup.
Sharon, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Congratulations, Sharon.
Roxanne Kelly Prime, Cooperative Education option, and Roxanne also receives a certificate in Tourism and Hospitality Management.
Roxanne, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Congratulations for this.
Barbara Regan.
Barbara, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Congratulations, Barbara.
Mary Bridget Riley, who also receives a certificate in Tourism and Hospitality Management.
Mary, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Congratulations, Mary.
John Patrick Ryuta with distinction.
John, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Congratulations.
Melanie Ross.
Melanie, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Congratulations.
Stephen Gerard Ryan.
Stephen, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Congratulations, Stephen.
Jody Sue Smith.
Is it Geraldine? Jody, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Congratulations, Jody.
Krista Ann Stoyles Williams.
Krista, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Congratulations, Krista.
Aslihan Tech.
Asta, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Congratulations.
Janine Terry.
Janine, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Congratulations, Janine.
Lisa Ann Marie Weir, who also receives a certificate in information technology today.
Lisa, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Congratulations for the certificate as well.
David White.
David, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Congratulations to you.
Andrew Woods.
Andrew, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Congratulations.
Mount St. Vincent University confers the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration in association with Bermuda College on Cindy Ann Repose.
Cindy Ann, on behalf of the Senate of Mount St. Vincent University, I admit you to the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration in association with Bermuda College, with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations, Cindy.
Mount St. Vincent University confers the degree of Bachelor of Public Relations on Eleanor Jane Cameron, Cooperative Education option.
Eleanor Jane, on behalf of the Senate of Mount St. Vincent University, I admit you to the degree of Bachelor of Public Relations, with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations, Eleanor.
Neil Dorr, Cooperative Education option.
Neil, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Public Relations. Because that was right.
Denise Dennis, Cooperative Education option.
Denise, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Public Relations. Congratulations, Denise.
Roberta Dunphy, Cooperative Education route.
Roberta, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Public Relations. Congratulations.
Maggie Grant.
Is it Melanie? Is it Melanie? Maggie, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Public Relations. Congratulations, Maggie.
Krista Diane Higdon, Cooperative Education route.
I confer the degree of Bachelor of Public Relations. Congratulations, Krista.
Michelle Hunt, Cooperative Education route.
Michelle, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Public Relations. Congratulations to you.
Amethyst Lynn Jury.
Amethyst, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Public Relations. Congratulations.
Kim Loretta Lai Fat.
Kim, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Public Relations. Congratulations, Kim.
Faith Taneen Ludi, Cooperative Education route.
Faith, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Public Relations. Congratulations.
Leslie Jane McKinnon, Cooperative Education route with distinction.
Leslie, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Public Relations. Congratulations for the distinction as well.
Janet Lynn McNeil, Cooperative Education route.
Janet, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Public Relations. Congratulations.
Patricia Melvin, Cooperative Education option.
Patricia, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Public Relations. Congratulations.
Jennifer Moore, Cooperative Education option with distinction.
Jennifer, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Public Relations. Congratulations for the distinction.
Andrea Nurse, Cooperative Education route.
Andrea, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Public Relations. Congratulations, Andrea.
Sean Jeffrey O'Reilly, Cooperative Education option.
Sean, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Public Relations. Congratulations, Sean.
Paul David Poirier.
Paul, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Public Relations. Congratulations, Paul.
Deidre Michelle Taylor, Cooperative Education route with distinction and highest aggregate.
Deidre, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Public Relations. Congratulations for the distinction.
Jane Erin Vokey, Cooperative Education option.
Jane, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Public Relations. Congratulations.
Mount St. Vincent University confers the degree of Bachelor of Tourism and Hospitality Management on Paul Carew, Cooperative Education route, who also receives a certificate in business.
Paul, on behalf of the Senate of Mount St. Vincent University, I admit you to the degree of Bachelor of Tourism and Hospitality Management with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations, Paul.
Sarah Dupre, Practica route.
Sarah, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Tourism and Hospitality Management. Congratulations, Sarah.
Elizabeth Ann Graham, Cooperative Education route with distinction, and Elizabeth also receives a certificate in business.
Elizabeth, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Tourism and Hospitality Management. Congratulations for the certificate as well.
Portia Sharon Johnny, Cooperative Education route with distinction and highest aggregate, and Portia also receives a certificate in business and a certificate in marketing today, and is the recipient of the Departmental Packram Award.
Was it Melissa? Portia. I confer the degree of Bachelor of Tourism and Hospitality Management, and congratulations for the honors.
Ryan Stephen Josie, Cooperative Education route.
Ryan, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Tourism and Hospitality Management. Congratulations, Ryan.
Catherine Margaret Lacusta, Cooperative Education route with distinction, who also receives a certificate in business.
Catherine, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Tourism and Hospitality Management. Congratulations for the certificate as well.
Melanie Dawn McLean, Cooperative Education route, who also receives a certificate in business and a certificate in marketing.
Melanie, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Tourism and Hospitality Management. Congratulations for their certificates.
Kalvinda Malhotra, Practica route with distinction, who also receives a certificate in business and a certificate in marketing.
Kalvinda, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Tourism and Hospitality Management. Congratulations on the certificates.
Lisa Marie Parham, Practica route.
Lisa Marie, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Tourism and Hospitality Management. Congratulations, Lisa.
Carrie Lee Smith, Practica route.
Carrie Lee, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Tourism and Hospitality Management. Congratulations.
Madam Chancellor, it is my privilege to present to you the candidates for the Collegiate Honours of Graduation. I attest that they have successfully completed the required courses of study, and I ask that they be admitted to the master's degree. Mount St. Vincent University confers the degree of Master of Arts in Child and Youth Study on Valeria Karlovich.
Valeria, on behalf of the Senate of Mount St. Vincent University, I admit you to the degree of Master of Arts in Child and Youth Study with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations, Valeria.
Mount St. Vincent University confers the degree of Master of Arts in Human Ecology on Bernadine Mullin Splood.
Bernadine, on behalf of the Senate of Mount St. Vincent University, I admit you to the degree of Master of Arts in Human Ecology with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Madam Chancellor, in addition, we confer the appropriate degrees in absentia on all those presented to the University Senate.
I confer the degrees in absentia on those persons so designated by the Dean.
The Senate Awards for Distinction. These engraved pewter awards, presented by the Senate of Mount St. Vincent University, are given in recognition of superior academic achievement to the student who graduates with distinction and with highest aggregate in each undergraduate degree. The master's rewards are presented upon recommendation of each department. This year's recipients are, and I ask them to come forward, please. Jillian Thibault, Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Studies. Erin Woodbury, Bachelor of Applied Arts, Child and Youth Studies, Honors. Kelly Ann Bastarach, Bachelor of Applied Arts, Family Studies and Gerontology. Sue Potty, Bachelor of Applied Arts, Family Studies and Gerontology, Honors. Siobhan Lyons, Bachelor of Applied Arts, Information Technology. Ryan McNeil, Bachelor of Business Administration. Deirdre Taylor, Bachelor of Public Relations, Co-op. Portia Sharon Johnny, Bachelor of Tourism and Hospitality Management, Co-op. Valeria Karlovich, Masters of Arts, Child and Youth Studies. In addition, Senate medals are awarded to Delan Fox Romaine, Bachelor of Business Administration, Bermuda, Jody Gardner, Bachelor of Business Administration, St. Martin, who are not able to attend. The Kappa Gamma Pi Award. Membership in Kappa Gamma Pi, Honor Society of Catholic Universities for Women, is awarded to graduates who, in addition to high scholastic standing and a good record of extracurricular activities, give promise of academic leadership in the future. The Undergraduate Kappa Gamma Pi Award is presented to Kelly Ann Bastarash. Kelly graduates today with a Bachelor of Applied Arts in Family Studies and Gerontology. She is an exemplary student and a very active leader, both within and outside the university. She has been Vice President, Secretary, and currently is President of the Family Studies and Gerontology Society, and energized the society with her sense of excitement and commitment. Kelly received the Award of Excellence from the Gerontology Association of Nova Scotia last year. She has earned the respect of her peers by contributing cheerfully both in the classroom and in the community. She can be constantly counted on to volunteer her time as a student representative of the Mount. She has a consistently positive attitude no matter how many juggling acts she is performing. Her professors note that she has the skills and the determination necessary to make an important impact on her profession. Congratulations, Kelly. The President's Prizes. These special awards, donated by the University President, are awarded to the members of the graduating class whose energy, generosity, and commitment have enriched the university during their time as students, and who show promise that their commitment will continue as alumni. The first prize is awarded to Darren O'Connell. Darren graduates today the Bachelor of Applied Arts in Family Studies and Gerontology with a concentration in gerontology. His professors describe him as a committed student who made a significant contribution to his classes while also assuming an active role in student government, serving first as the Vice President Academic of the Student Union and more recently as Don of the Birches residence on campus. In his role in Student Union, he sat on many of the central academic committees of the university, including the Undergraduate Curriculum Committee, the Committee on Academic Policy and Planning, and on Senate. Those who sat on these committees with him know how prepared he was and how well he represented students and their point of view. We wish Darren well as he begins his career working with older adults within the community. Congratulations, Darren. The President's Prize is also awarded to Ryan Thomas McNeil. Ryan graduates today with a Bachelor of Business Administration with distinction and with highest aggregate, a remarkable achievement for someone who has also found the time to make so many other contributions in his time as a student. This past year, he has been president of the Student Union, a member of the Mount St. Vincent Unit Senate and the Board of Governors, and has previously served as Speaker and Executive Vice President of the Student Union. Ryan has worked with a great commitment to ensure student perspectives are heard at every level of the university. Intelligent, articulate, and always constructive, he has gained the respect of students, professors, and university administrators alike. His contributions have not been limited to the university. Ryan also serves as the co-chair of the Nova Scotia Youth Advisory Council and Rural Youth Task Force. His contributions to the community have been recognized with the Queen's Jubilee Medal and the Lieutenant Governor's Medal. He goes from here to pursue a Master's in Community Development at the University of Waterloo, and I think, as we heard earlier, apparently a diploma in golf as well. We know that he will make his mark, whether it's in community development or in golf, wherever he goes and whatever he does. Congratulations, and don't go yet. Stay. Ryan also receives the Valedictorian Award. The Valedictorian Award this provides all valedictorians with a lasting memento of their achievement and contribution to the graduating class. To be chosen valedictorian, the student must have maintained a strong academic record, must have been actively involved in a number of extracurricular activities, either on campus or in the community, must have been nominated as a fitting spokesperson for the graduating class by their peers and their faculty, and must have submitted samples of their writing for review. Congratulations again.
Madam Chancellor, Madam President, distinguished guests, faculty, graduates, families, and friends, it is a great honor and pleasure for me to present to you Daphne Marlatt for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. Daphne Marlatt can be described as a truly post-colonial subject. She was born in Australia to English parents. She spent part of her childhood in Malaysia and the rest in Vancouver. She now lives in BC, but she has taught, written, and lectured all over the world. She is here today because she has, quite simply, changed the face of Canadian literature. Daphne Marlatt is one of Canada's most innovative and provocative writers. She's the author of over 25 books of prose and poetry. She has edited 13 volumes and has contributed many more works to magazines and journals all over the world. Her fiction, poetry, and criticism are continuously anthologized and are the subject of a huge amount of scholarly discussion. Her writing has been described as lyrical, transformative, eclectic, and infused with caring, intelligence, and a feel for technical innovation. She's been nominated for numerous literary awards and is one of the most important and influential feminist writers and teachers in Canada. I know from my own experience of reading and teaching Ms. Marlatt's work that her writing is endlessly fascinating. Her texts are multiply and intricately layered, drawing the reader into an understanding of the complexity and dizzying, if sometimes frightening, potential of language as a way of ordering experience. But she also alerts us to its use as a tool for obscuring, erasing, and manipulating that experience. The political implications of cultural narratives that create limited and exclusionary versions of history are often the focus of Ms. Marlatt's formidable critical eye. As a scholar of Canadian literature, I know that Daphne Marlatt has indeed changed the landscape of Canadian women's writing through her narrative experimentation, through her poetic but uncompromising inclusion of the political in her texts. Her novels are poetic, and her poetry is at once sharp, startling, and beautiful. A reader can come back again and again and still find new ways of thinking about her writing and the world that it represents. I know that the students in my Canadian literature classes are constantly pulled into the worlds of Daphne Marlatt's fiction and poetry. It's a testament, I think, to her abilities as an artist that my students are excited not only by her fascination and play with language, but by the formal innovations in her texts. And they're also delighted by the levels of wit that pervade her work. So for those students from second year to senior seminars with whom I've read a lot of Daphne Marlatt's work, it's not just the intellectual journey that makes them revisit her writing in their essays and class discussions and elsewhere, but it's also the ways in which this works not only in literature, but as art, in the ways in which her work works, not only as literature, but as art and as politics, and as a window into the workings of power in narrative and in culture. And as an aside, I've got to say that there was a lot of excitement in my feminisms and their literatures class when they realized that Ms. Marlatt was going to be on campus, and there's a few representatives up there. So if you get accosted by fans later, this is what's going to happen. Ms. Marlatt's ongoing engagement with narratives and narrative form is most emphatically not restricted to the world of literature and literary studies. In fact, much of the power and importance in her work lies in the ways in which, to paraphrase a character from her novel Anna Historic, the world insists itself into words. Daphne Marlatt has been a force in the world of literary journals in Canada and has been instrumental in facilitating publication for other writers. She's a founding editor of Tessera, a journal that began in order to publish the theoretical and experimental writing of Québécois and Canadian feminist writers. Tessera has become a place where there can be a dialogue between French and English women writers and among women across Canada. Unlike many journals before it, Tessera encourages experimentation, political writing, and a play with the boundaries between creative and theoretical texts, and the result is astonishing. Ms. Marlatt has also been the editor of such important journals as the West Coast Review, Brick, and Tish, all of which are invaluable resources for writers and a gift to readers. Now, this level of accomplishment might be enough for most of us, but not apparently for Daphne Marlatt. Daphne Marlatt's influence on Canadian women, politics, and literature has not only been accomplished through her own written work, she also brings an equal level of passion, intelligence, and excitement to the other endeavors in which she has been involved. She's a teacher, an activist for feminist and lesbian causes, a sought-after speaker, an editor, an important contributor to the world of Canadian literary journals. She has taught creative writing, women's studies, literature, and seminars for faculty who teach creative writing. She has generously devoted her time and talent to poetry workshops and is a valued and sought-after writer in residence. She has also been an important and ongoing participant in the prestigious Banff Centre for the Arts. Ms. Marlatt's writing and teaching are always structured around the importance of challenging the divisions between the personal, the literary, the critical, and the political. She is constantly interested in the relationship between the individual and history, and in the context of any moment of narrative and speech. Daphne Marlatt's achievements in literature, writing, in teaching, publishing, and activism have opened up the ways in which we think about the distinctions between these categories. And this is perhaps one of the most significant elements of her contribution to the intellectual and artistic life of Canada, and especially of women in Canada. Madam Chancellor, in the name of the Senate of Mount St. Vincent University, I ask you to confer upon Daphne Marlatt the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
On behalf of the Senate of Mount St. Vincent University, I admit you, Daphne Marlatt, to the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations. And I'm going to give you a degree as well.
Madam Chancellor, Madam President, distinguished guests, faculty, graduates, families, and friends. It is my honor and great pleasure to present to you Anne Medina for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. When I think of Anne Medina, this is the image that comes to mind. She's standing atop a barren, rather bleak hill. A stiff wind is blowing, and the remains of war-torn Beirut, as we called it then, are in the background. Anne was one of few women in the 70s and early 80s assigned to cover a brutal and devastating war, as if there's any other kind. The Lebanese Civil War spanned a total of about 15 years. Interesting, isn't it, that term, civil war? What kind of oxymoron is that? The civil war that I'm referring to involved players outside Lebanon too. Israel, Syria, the United States. The capital city of Beirut, a city once called the jewel of the Middle East, was essentially reduced to rubble. During this war, Anne Medina returned to that hill night after night, or day after day, Beirut time. She wore, at least in my memory, a white shirt and jeans. And she talked to us about the ravages of this complex chapter in man's inhumanity to man. There was no hyperbole, no exaggeration, no pumped up, breathless blow by blow of the carnage, no designer wardrobe, no flak jacket. Her voice, powerful and deep, spoke instead of the awfulness of this war as each development deepened the enmity. Her reporting then couldn't be more different from the rather superficial who's ahead tonight approach to today's war coverage, driven as it is almost unfailingly by self-interested official sources. Anne is a superb television reporter. With Anne's reportage, we learn from listening as much as we learn from watching. And that is Anne's way, it seems to me. Pushing herself to explain, and pushing the rest of us to understand. Anne has won many awards in Canada and in the United States, including the prestigious Emmy Award. She studied at Wellesley College, at Harvard, and at the University of Edinburgh, and obtained her master's in philosophy from the University of Chicago. She began her television career in Chicago and worked for both NBC and ABC News before moving to Canada. In this country, Anne worked for CBC Television as both a producer and a reporter. She was a senior foreign correspondent for the Journal, and later the Beirut bureau chief for both the National and the Journal. Anne has shed light, as opposed to heat, on many of the most newsworthy stories of our time. She went on to become one of the first residents of Norman Jewison's Canadian Film Centre in Toronto. She has moderated federal and provincial election debates. She's hosted Rough Cuts on CBC and History on Film on the History Television Network. And with typical dogged curiosity, Anne is now a communications technology buff. No Luddite, she. Anne is past chair of the Academy of Canadian Cinema and Television and past chair of the Cultural Industries Council of Ontario. In 1994, she received the Outstanding Achievement Award for Women, and the International Women's Forum named her a woman who makes a difference in the year 2001. Anne has set an ethical and a moral standard to which the rest of us can aspire. And she has that insatiable curiosity which many of us can only envy. She most certainly is a woman who makes a difference. Madam Chancellor, in the name of the Senate of Mount St. Vincent University, I ask you to confer upon Anne Medina the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
On behalf of the Senate, on behalf of the Senate of Mount St. Vincent University, I admit you, Anne Medina, to the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Even cases to go to all places.
I'm going to pin you.
Great.
The honorary pin. I'm going to pin on your robe.
Ouch! No. Madam Chancellor, President Brown, distinguished professors, guests, parents, very important, and graduates. I am thrilled, honored, flabbergasted, and yes, grateful to be invited here. And let me tell you how special it is. At my age, obviously my parents and my grandparents aren't here to sit proudly beaming up at me, but they are here in a very tangible way. Because a few years back, my cousin Meredith came across the robe that my grandfather wore when he was honored. And she saved it for me, saying one day she wanted to see me wearing it. Well, today she's doing just that. This is my grandfather's robe, and my cousin Meredith and her husband Bob have a front row seat. So we're all here, proud families and us graduates, though as the Dalai Lama recently observed, getting his degree in Toronto, you had to work a lot harder than me to get yours. All I have to do is stand up here for a few minutes while you spent years. And in those few minutes, I'm supposed to be wisely giving you words of advice based upon my numerous years of experience. Well, quite frankly, I'd rather be listening to you give me some guidance and tips. And in these few minutes, in addition to fulfilling my degree requirements, I'm going to give you a sense of why I feel that way. And to do that, I'm going to tell you about a bird, a dog, and a magazine. First, the magazine. As you heard, I was a reporter, a watcher, if you will, of what people say and do and fight over and build and destroy. And much of my reporting was going off and discovering things in foreign or strange worlds, places where I'd never been before. Well, over the years, I discovered the key to working in such a world was summed up in something I once read in one of those airline magazines that are tucked away in the pocket in front of you. And it was an article about being a tourist entitled When in Rome. And it said, and I quote, "In order to be a true traveler, one must play the role of the fool and often ask dumb questions. The one who knows everything about a place before he even departs will never discover what he's going there to see." Well, my friends, you're about to become a traveler in a whole new world. And if we accept the advice of the magazine, you'll discover a lot more, as I did, if you begin by assuming you don't know what you'll find. And that means tossing away whatever preconceptions you may have had, or things some books or professors may have told you. And you'll have to block out a lot of conventional wisdom and things that everybody knows. And above all, you'll have to lose that fear of appearing stupid. In the next few years, you might just get more out of your lives if you throw out a lot of what you have just spent years learning. Now, many universities would cringe at anyone saying such a thing, especially at a ceremony like this. But frankly, I suspect that is precisely the kind of attitude that this university probably loves. And I like that. Now, As you heard, I was born in the States, America, as they say. And down there, we celebrate Thanksgiving big. We say what he always said. Not the succulent white meat of the breast, not the juicy sweet meat of the second joint. No, he always wanted the neck. Now, I don't know when, but sometime in his past, he had to have said to someone, what's that bit in there that goes into the soup? What's that? Can I try it? Imagine. What a silly question. No one tries the neck. I love that story because in a very real way, he went his own route. He rejected what everyone said and what everybody thought was the best and tried something new. And to this day, my brothers and I fight over the neck. Someone has to be the first, and you never know. I remember when I was in Syria once, and we were in a small village, and the farmers there insisted on giving us a meal. Well, it turned out to be a hafla, a feast. And we were sitting on the floor of this room, all bunched up, huddled up in our winter jackets, and they brought in 2 enormous platters, 2 boiled whole sheep. Well, the farmer next to me, a very simple man who hadn't quite washed up totally, coming in from the field, reached into the carcass of one of them, and his arm disappeared up to here, and he pulled out something dripping with grease, and he turned to me and he said, "For you." And I said, "For me?" And I screwed up my courage, and I ate it. And it was the most delicious piece of lamb that I've ever had. You never know. Discoveries and surprises, so often they're the joy of life and open all kinds of doors to whole new worlds. But before someone asks you, what did Medina talk about, and you have to answer turkey necks and unmentionable parts of sheep, we'll add the bird. A few years back, my boss said, "Get Medina as far away from me as you can." So they sent me to Timbuktu. And no, I didn't know where it was, but it's in Mali. So we were sent there to report on the desert and whether the desert could be stopped because thousands were dying from famine. Now, I'm a bit of a nut over many things, but also over birds. And wherever I went, I would buy one because I was often in places for 2 weeks or more, and they provided a bit of companionship. So we arrived in Bamako, that's the capital of Mali, but it's the kind of city that has one stoplight. So we're not talking major metropolis. But on that first day, I asked the stupidest of questions. Could I buy a bird? And my crew looked at me as if I was nuts. But I got an amazing answer. Maybe. So off I went in a so-called cab, and after about 2 minutes, we were out of the city, and I was beginning to wonder just where we were headed, and the driver pulled over, but all I could see was an old, crumbling wall. Well, he got out, and I followed, and sure enough, behind the wall was a large cage of birds, and with the owner. So I said, "That one, and that one." And the old guy brought out a little cage. But there was just this teeny-weeny problem. The wire mesh had openings like that, and the birds were about yay big. But before I knew it, another guy appeared. And 2 of them sat down at this dry dirt, and they'd scratch around, and they'd find an old nail, crooked, and they'd hammer it with their shoes to straighten it out, and they'd find some old chicken wire, and they'd unravel it, and just meticulously start reweaving it For more than an hour, those two guys worked on this cage for this silly little lady from Canada. But when it was done, and it was finished, and they presented it to me, you should have seen the pride and the joy on their faces. They had been challenged, and they had created something literally out of nothing. And I think I learned more in that hour about Africa than any pile of books or experts could have ever told me. How people survive and can be tough no matter what they face. And all because I asked the silly question, can I buy a bird? Quite often it's only when we ask the silly question or follow some whim that we begin to truly discover. And to ask that silly question, we often have to shed some of our adult worries about conventions and, yes, be a kid again. So now I guess you're wondering about the poor little dog. Where is he? Well, he's backstage wagging his tail, and he's ready to come on stage now. In a sense, we're all watching a little dog named Toto pull back the curtain to reveal that the Wizard of Oz is really not a wizard at all, just a sad old man whose magic machine has broken down. Except that today our magic machine might refer to many of the assumptions and traditions and ways of doing things that we've been using in the past. Many are not working, and things are changing very fast. How we view governments, workplaces, nationhood, each other. That's the era of today. But what we all have to do is what the wizard had to do. To understand that the wizardry is not in the technology or the tools or ideas that we've come to rely on, but somewhere inside each of us that we may discover if we explore those side streets and hiking paths and museums that we didn't know we'd find before we arrived. The older people must explore the ideas of those younger than us and be challenged by different ways of looking at the world. And I want to know what you think about Iraq and technology and hamburgers and God. And I want to ask you some silly questions. We must all be willing to take and taste those gifts offered by other cultures and not turn up our noses, because just possibly they may know something we don't and have something very special to show us. But there is no yellow brick road to point the way. There are no rules to master step by step. You must ask the dumb questions that everyone thinks you're nuts to ask. And life is more fun and more exciting when we don't know it all already. All I do know is that I have been lucky, and I hope when you're 61 that you'll have had as much fun as I've had, and to be here now and to have tasted the neck. Try it. You'll like it. Thank you.
Dr. Medina, on behalf of all of the faculty, graduates, and guests here today, I would like to express sincere gratitude to you for the witty thoughts and engaging stories you've shared with us today. Your advice on becoming travelers in life is intriguing. Food for thought for us today as we leave here one step closer to our goals. It has truly, truly been our privilege this afternoon to hear you speak. We extend congratulations to you, Dr. Medina, and also to Dr. Marlatt for receiving your honorary degrees. We are honored to count you two very esteemed and successful women among our degree recipients today. Thank you so much for sharing this day with us.
Graduates and their families and guests are invited to a reception in the multipurpose room Rosaria Center as soon as the convocation ceremonies are concluded. And I declare the convocation closed.